Welcome back to Dr. Gilbert Healthy Aging. I am Dr. Gilbert. Throughout my extensive decades of active medical practice, complex vascular research, and general surgical career, I have held the delicate microsurgical instruments required to operate on the human nervous and circulatory systems. I have looked directly inside the deep tissue structures of thousands of senior patients, and I have seen firsthand the tragic, silent, and entirely preventable cellular decay that occurs when the human body's complex internal signaling pathways are systematically choked off. Today, we are going to dive deep into a highly specific, deeply distressing, and terrifying physical sensation that millions of you over the age of 70 experience every single day, yet frequently brush aside as just an unalterable, normal consequence of growing old. Let us sit down together and discuss a heavy, silent, and deeply isolating reality that many aging adults face in absolute solitude, locked away in a room of persistent physical anxiety. Have you noticed that when you rest in your favorite living room armchair or lie down in bed at night, you experience a strange, dead, completely detached numbness in your feet, as if your lower limbs no longer belong to your body? Do you feel an agonizing, restless pins and needles tingling sensation radiating through your calves, ankles, and toes, making you feel as though you are walking on a bed of hot coals or sharp glass? Or perhaps, when you attempt to walk just a short distance across your carpeted bedroom floor, you feel as if you are stepping on thick layers of cardboard, completely unable to feel the structural reality of the earth beneath your soles? If you answered yes to any of these common, agonizing symptoms, I want you to listen to the sound of my voice with absolute cognitive focus today. Your body is not just experiencing the benign, random slowdown of the aging clock. Your nervous system is waving a vivid, urgent red flag. It is desperately crying out for help, trying to warn you about a critical underlying physiological crisis: the progressive starvation and asphyxiation of your peripheral nerves. In the mainstream world of modern medicine, I see people make the fatal mistake of treating lower limb numbness and tingling as a superficial skin issue, an annoyance to be managed by wearing thicker compression socks, purchasing electric heating pads, rubbing cosmetic menthol creams onto their feet, or passively swallowing heavy prescription nerve-numbing medications like gabapentin. But as a physician, it is my professional duty to share the harsh, unfiltered clinical reality with you today. Ignored neurovascular health in your lower extremities is a rapid, catastrophic downward spiral. When your peripheral nerves are systematically deprived of blood flow and oxygen, they do not just sit there silently. They begin to wither, degenerate, and permanently die away, like tree roots trapped in dry, toxic soil. Left unaddressed over months and years, this progressive nerve starvation leads to a complete loss of spatial awareness, severe muscle wasting, balance degradation, chronic debilitating neuropathic pain, and non-healing skin ulcers that can rapidly threaten your very survival, permanently stripping away your independent identity forever. But I did not create this comprehensive, ultra-deep dive masterclass to leave you sitting in a state of helpless fear or psychological discouragement. Fear is a paralyzing, toxic emotion that serves absolutely no clinical purpose in your longevity journey. Quite the opposite. I am here today to provide you with an extraordinary, life-saving, and scientifically proven mechanical shield of protection. In this episode, I am going to reveal one remarkably gentle, highly concentrated, and surgeon-approved neurovascular exercise that you can perform right from the absolute comfort of your favorite living room chair. This specialized movement requires zero expensive gym memberships, zero specialized exercise equipment, and no costly physical therapy sessions. It takes just a few short minutes of your time each day. Yet, despite its extreme simplicity, this single movement possesses the unique physiological power to completely flush your lower limbs with fresh, oxygen-rich arterial blood, safely dissolve stubborn nerve numbness, expand your collapsed capillary networks, and permanently restore the vibrant physical freedom, mobility, and unassisted balance that you deserve. If you are truly ready to stop shuffling in fear, permanently dissolve that dead tingling sensation and walk through this world with the absolute pride, dignity, and laser-focused stability of your youth, turn off all background noise and distractions right now. Focus your mind, adjust your speakers, and let us break down this deep anatomical knowledge together. This will be the most critical hour you spend on your longevity this year. Before we uncover the elegant anatomical engineering behind your body's nerve signaling networks, take a brief moment to click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. By doing so, you join our global healthy aging family and ensure you are always equipped with the real, unfiltered clinical truths needed to protect your sovereign physical freedom. Let us begin by exploring the hidden mechanical plumbing that governs nerve health inside your legs. To permanently fix a highly complex biological machine that is losing its operational efficiency and drifting into severe decay, a clinical engineer must thoroughly understand the fundamental laws of fluid dynamics and electrical signaling that govern its interior structures. Human movement is a beautiful, high-speed symphony of balance and coordination. To take a single safe step across your living room floor, your brain must send an electrical command down your spinal cord, through the massive sciatic nerve highway, and all the way into the microscopic nerve receptors resting beneath the skin of your soles. Simultaneously, these receptors, known as proprioceptors, must instantly send high-definition spatial data back up to your brain, confirming exactly how hard the floor is, whether the surface is slippery, and how your center of gravity is shifting. For this lightning-fast electrical highway to function smoothly, your nerves require an immense, continuous supply of biological energy. Nerves are incredibly hungry metabolic structures. Even though your peripheral nerves comprise only a tiny fraction of your total body weight, they consume a massive percentage of your available oxygen and glucose. Nature engineered a brilliant microscopic plumbing network to satisfy this hunger. Wrapped tightly around every single nerve fiber in your legs is a dense web of microscopic blood vessels called the vasa nervorum, which literally translates to the vessels of the nerves. These tiny microconduits are the absolute lifeline of your nervous system, continuously delivering fresh, warm, oxygen-rich arterial blood directly into the nerve cells to keep the electrical current running clean and fast. However, as we cross the major biological milestone of age 70, a devastating combination of structural, vascular, and mechanical issues occurs inside the lower body to completely choke off this vital lifeline, leading directly to the epidemic of numbness and tingling. The first major culprit is micro-vascular ischemia and atherosclerosis. Over 7 or 8 decades of life, small amounts of calcified plaque, cholesterol, and metabolic waste build up inside your arterial walls. While this plaque narrows the massive highway arteries of your legs, it completely obliterates the microscopic vasa nervorum capillaries. Instead of a wide, open pipe supplying a torrent of fresh blood to your leg nerves, the blood supply is forced to squeeze through a tiny, restricted, completely clogged straw. Your nerves are systematically placed into a state of chronic micro-starvation. The exact microsecond the oxygen levels drop below a critical threshold, the nerve cells experience a severe energy crisis. They can no longer generate a clean electrical current. Instead of sending accurate spatial data to your brain, they begin to misfire violently, sending chaotic, corrupted static electricity. This internal neural misfiring is the absolute clinical explanation for that agonizing, burning, pins and needles tingling sensation that drives you crazy at night. Left untreated, the misfiring stops and the nerve goes completely silent, creating that dead, detached numbness that makes your feet feel like heavy blocks of wood. The second major culprit is mechanical compression and spinal stenosis. As we age, the protective cartilage discs between our lumbar vertebrae dry out, flatten, and lose their height. The bones of your spine collapse closer together, and the tiny anatomical windows where the nerve roots exit the spinal column, the neuroforamina, become severely narrowed and choked by arthritic bone spurs. When you sit or stand with poor posture, these hard bone spurs physically pinch and compress the nerve roots. This mechanical pressure completely halts the internal flow of nutrients inside the nerve fiber, a process called axonal transport. It is exactly like stepping firmly on a flexible rubber garden hose while the water is running at full pressure. The flow stops instantly. The signals to your feet drop offline, causing an immediate onset of numbness and leaving you completely vulnerable to a catastrophic fall. Now, I want you to think about what happens to this fragile, starving neurovascular network when you sit completely motionless in a comfortable living room recliner or a soft sofa for 3, 4, or 5 continuous hours a day. Because your legs are bent at the hips and knees and your body weight is resting heavily on your gluteal muscles, you are creating massive physical compression directly against the major neurovascular pathways behind your joints. Your peripheral heart, the calf muscle pump, is completely turned off. The blood inside your lower extremities moves like thick, freezing cold molasses, pooling heavily in your ankles under the downward force of gravity. The hydrostatic pressure inside your legs climbs to a dangerous peak, forcing inflammatory fluids out of the veins into the surrounding tissues, further compressing the starving nerve endings. Your foot-brain highway goes completely dark. Can you see how a sedentary lifestyle and poor mechanical alignment form a toxic alliance to destroy your nervous system? You cannot walk with balanced stability if your brain is completely blind to the floor. To reverse this structural decay, we must bypass the clogged arteries, lift the mechanical compression off the nerve roots, and implement a specialized movement that instantly jump-starts your internal electrical highway. Let us now move away from the theoretical anatomy of the decline and focus 100% of our cognitive energy on the practical, life-saving solution. I am going to teach you how to execute the single most powerful, medically engineered exercise designed to eradicate leg numbness and tingling after the age of 70. This therapeutic clinical routine is known in neurobiomechanics as the seated and supine Neuro-Vascular Glute-Bridge Pump. When seniors notice their legs are losing sensation and tingling intensely, the most common piece of advice they receive from basic fitness articles or well-meaning family members is, "You just need to get up and walk more to get the blood flowing." But as a physician who has treated advanced nerve degeneration, I know that telling a senior with numb feet to walk more is not only counterproductive, it is deeply hazardous. If your brain cannot feel the floor clearly because the proprioceptors are dormant, forcing you to walk will only trigger a severe survival panic in your central nervous system. Your brain will command your posture to slouch, lock your knees straight, and force you into a dangerous, clumsy senior shuffle that invites a catastrophic trip and fall. Furthermore, if the nerve is mechanically pinched at the lumbar spine, walking can multiply the compression, causing intense pain and rapid exhaustion. This specialized glute bridge pump protocol is incredibly brilliant because it allows you to completely bypass the brain's fear programming. It is performed while your body is resting in a horizontal, supine position flat on your bed or a comfortable mat, completely unloaded from the crushing weight of gravity. Your kneecaps, your arthritic hip sockets, and your fragile spine vertebrae are completely supported and protected. This absolute safety allows your central nervous system to safely drop its defensive guard, opening up the physical floodgates so we can manually pump fresh blood and electrical energy directly into the starving tissues. Let us break this life-saving protocol down into 3 precise sequential phases. I want you to mentally visualize this routine right now so that you can execute it with absolute precision and perfect clinical form. Phase 1. The pelvic decompression reset, the apex lift. The first phase is engineered to lift the crushing mechanical compression off your pinched lumbar nerve roots while simultaneously forcing the large, expanded veins of your abdomen to clear out their stagnant fluid pooling. How to execute this phase perfectly. 1. Lie completely flat on your back on your mattress or a firm yoga mat. Place a thin, supportive pillow under your head if needed. Extend both arms straight down by your sides, pressing your palms firmly into the surface for total structural safety. 2. Bend both of your knees smoothly and bring your feet toward your buttocks until your heels are resting flat on the bed, spaced exactly hip-width apart. Your toes must point straight ahead like parallel train tracks. 3. Inhale deeply through your nose for 3 slow seconds, expanding your lower abdomen with oxygen. 4. As you begin to slowly, smoothly exhale through your mouth, drive both of your heels firmly down into the mattress, contract your powerful gluteal muscles, and slowly lift your pelvis up toward the ceiling. 5. Lift your hips up until your body forms a straight, beautiful diagonal line from your shoulders to your bent knees. Do not overarch your lower back. Keep your core engaged. 6. At the absolute apex of this lift, when your hips are elevated, squeeze your glutes with maximum intention. Hold this peak contraction for 3 full seconds. Feel the solid contraction in the back of your thighs and pelvis. 7. Slowly, smoothly lower your hips back down over a 3-second count until your sacrum gently touches the surface. Do not let your body drop heavily due to gravity. You must maintain muscle tension throughout the entire descent. Phase 2. The ankle hydraulic compression, the neural flush. The very microsecond your hips gently touch the mattress at the end of your descent, you must immediately transition into the second phase without resting. This phase targets the primary peripheral heart, the calf muscle pump, to drive blood velocity all the way to your toes. How to execute this phase perfectly. 1. With your hips resting flat on the bed and your knees bent, take a deep breath in through your nose. 2. As you begin to slowly exhale, keep the balls of both feet and all 10 of your toes firmly, completely glued to the mattress. 3. Now actively drive your heels up into the air as high as they can possibly go, cocking your ankle joints completely. Push up until you are standing fully on the tips of your toes while lying down. 4. At the very peak of this heel lift, contract your calf muscles with immense intention, holding the squeeze for 2 full seconds. You will feel a warm, tight, burning sensation radiating through the back of your lower legs. 5. Slowly lower your heels back down with perfect control until they rest flat. 6. Immediately reverse the movement. Anchor both of your heels deeply into the mattress and pull your toes and the front of your feet as high as they can go toward the ceiling, contracting the muscles along your shins, the anterior tibialis, for 2 full seconds. 7. Lower your toes back flat to the starting position. Phase 3. The synchronized toe launch, the proprioceptive awakening. The final phase is designed to completely ignite the dormant peripheral nerve endings beneath your soles and forcefully clear the physical gateway where major arteries cross into your feet. How to execute this phase perfectly. 1. With both feet resting flat on the mattress, I want you to actively spread all 10 of your toes as wide apart as physically possible. Imagine you are trying to create wide spaces between every single toe. 2. Now, press your big toes down into the mattress with immense force, while simultaneously lifting the smaller foretoes up into the air. Hold this position for 2 seconds. 3. Reverse the pattern instantly. Press the smaller foretoes firmly down into the surface, while lifting your big toes as high into the air as possible for 2 seconds. 4. Finally, let all 10 of your toes flatten. Curl them downward tightly, as if you are trying to grab a handful of the bedsheet beneath you. Squeeze for 2 seconds, and then release them into a wide, relaxed sprawl. The clinical dosage. I want you to perform 15 continuous, uninterrupted rounds of this entire 3-phase sequence. The surgeon's insight. Why is this specific triple-action combination so profoundly effective at dissolving lower limb numbness and tingling? Let us look at the beautiful vascular and neurological physics taking place inside your body. When you lift your pelvis in phase 1, you are physically tractioning your lumbar spine, widening the narrowed neuroforamina windows, and instantly lifting the hard bone spurs off your pinched nerve roots. Axonal transport is immediately restored. The heavy boot is lifted off the garden hose. Simultaneously, because your body is horizontal, your heart does not have to fight gravity, allowing a massive torrent of fresh, warm arterial blood to rush down your legs, flooding the starved vasa nervorum capillary networks. When you transition into phase 2, your deeply contracting calf and shin muscles act like two high-pressure hydraulic pumps, compressing the flexible walls of your deep leg veins, destroying fluid stagnation, and forcing used blood and metabolic waste fluids out of your ankles straight back to your torso. Finally, in phase 3, the active, isolated movement of your toes fires a massive, synchronized wave of electrical signals up your proprioceptive highway. Millions of dormant nerve endings are instantly shocked awake by the raw mechanical stimulation. Your brain's motor cortex is flooded with fresh, high-definition data. The cold numbness dissolves because your nerves are finally saturated with warm oxygenated blood, while the chaotic tingling static electricity disappears because the neural pathway is calibrated and clear. You have successfully jump-started your lower body nervous system from the comfort of your bed. Now that you thoroughly understand the mechanical and vascular physics behind the Neuro-Vascular Glute-Bridge Pump, we must establish the precise clinical dosage and scheduling protocol. In the practice of senior geriatrics and nerve restoration, a physical movement operates exactly like a prescription pharmaceutical compound. If you take too small a dose, or if you take it at the incorrect biological time, the therapeutic benefits are completely lost. If you take the correct dose at the exact right biological time, with unyielding consistency, you purchase real, structural tissue adaptation and permanent neurological recovery. For maximum neurovascular results, I want you to prescribe this entire 15-repetition routine to yourself twice every single day, without exception. The morning dose, the neural ignition. Perform this entire routine first thing in the morning, while you are still lying flat beneath your blankets, the very microsecond you open your eyes and wake up. Do not jump out of bed, and do not sit there in stagnation. Spend 4 minutes executing your bridge lifts, ankle pumps, and toe calibrations. This clears out the massive venous fluid pooling and nerve compression that naturally accumulated in your lower body during 8 hours of horizontal immobility, filling your brain with oxygen-rich blood and preparing your feet to step onto the floor with total balance stability. The evening dose, the nocturnal shield. Perform this entire routine in the evening, approximately 10 to 15 minutes before you plan to close your eyes and fall asleep. As we established in our vascular guides, nighttime is when chronic neuropathic pain, restless legs, and burning tingling sensations reach their absolute worst levels because your body's cortisol drops and circulation slows down. By executing the vascular flush right before sleep, you manually open up your capillary networks, saturate the starved vasa nervorum with blood, and build a protective shield that keeps your legs calm, warm, and pain-free throughout the entire night, allowing you to experience deep, uninterrupted sleep. What exactly should you expect to experience inside your lower body when you begin practicing this daily routine? During the first 2 to 3 rounds of your very first session, you will likely feel a powerful, warm, rushing sensation, spreading through your calves and into the soles of your feet, often accompanied by a temporary, slight increase in the tingling sensation. I want you to listen to me very carefully. Please do not be alarmed or discouraged by this feeling. This is a phenomenal clinical sign. It is a clear indication that the mechanical block has been lifted off your spine, and hundreds of thousands of collapsed microcapillaries are actively expanding and accepting fresh, warm blood flow. It is the literal physical feeling of your dying peripheral nerves waking back up and coming back to life. Within 14 days of daily, uninterrupted consistency, structural shifts will manifest inside your tissues. My patients report a magnificent 80% reduction in nighttime leg cramps, a dramatic clearance of ankle swelling, and a wonderful returning sensation of sharpness beneath their soles. You will stand up from your bed and feel the floor with clarity, walking straight with absolute confidence. As a physician and a surgeon who looks at human health through a comprehensive holistic lens, I must remind you that practicing the neurovascular pump routine is only half the battle. You cannot expect to permanently heal a starving nervous system if you are unknowingly committing these 3 common, deadly lifestyle mistakes every single day inside your own home. These habits actively destroy your blood vessels, pinch your nerve roots, and undo all the therapeutic healing we are building. Deadly mistake #1. Sinking into deep, ultra-soft sofa cushions. Many seniors love to spend their afternoons sitting inside massive, plush, ultra-soft fabric sofas or deep recliners that sink down several inches when they sit. While this soft texture feels comfortable initially, from a structural biomechanical standpoint, it is an absolute disaster for your nervous system. When you sink into a soft cushion, your pelvis is forced to tilt backward into a highly destructive slouched position, completely erasing the natural lumbar curve of your lower back. This structural collapse places an immense, continuous mechanical compression force directly against your exiting lumbar nerve roots, completely choking off axonal transport for hours at a time. My strict clinical prescription: avoid ultra-soft, bucket-style seating entirely. Always sit in a firm, supportive chair that keeps your hips resting slightly higher than your knees, and place a small, rolled-up towel or a lumbar support roll directly behind the small of your lower back to maintain your spine's natural architectural curve, keeping your internal highways wide open. Deadly mistake #2. The habit of prolonged motionless sitting. Many seniors fall into the routine of sitting completely motionless in an armchair for 2, 3, or 4 continuous hours while reading a book, knitting, or watching television programs. When you remain static for this long, your skeletal muscles enter a state of complete dormancy. Because there is zero muscular contraction taking place, the fluid physics of your lower body collapse. Blood moves incredibly slowly, pooling heavily inside your lower legs, while your peripheral nerves undergo chronic micro-asphyxiation from lack of circulating oxygen. My strict clinical prescription: implement the 45-minute motion rule. Never allow your body to remain static for more than 45 minutes at a time. Every 3/4 of an hour, set a small kitchen timer, stand up from your chair, take 10 slow steps, or simply perform 10 seated calf pumps right where you are to turn your peripheral heart back on and flush your nerves with fresh circulation. Deadly mistakes #3. Walking indoors in loose, backless house slippers. The moment many seniors step out of bed, they slide their feet into a pair of loose, soft, backless house slippers or flip-flops to walk around the house. This is a severe biomechanical error. Because a backless slipper possesses zero structural support around the heel counter, your foot is forced to execute a continuous, subconscious clawing action. Your toes must constantly curl downward and grip the sole of the shoe with every single step, just to keep the slipper from flying off your foot. This chronic tension completely freezes your ankle joint capsule, tightens the heavy plantar fascia gonco beneath your sole, and physically pinches the small plantar nerves that supply sensation to your toes, directly causing chronic numbness and burning pain. My strict clinical prescription: ditch backless slippers permanently. Inside your home, walk either completely barefoot to stimulate your receptors, wear thick non-slip socks with rubber grips, or wear a supportive house shoe that features a secure, solid back counters that locks your heel firmly into perfect mechanical alignment. To accelerate your neurological recovery and completely restore the responsive, youthful electrical conductivity of your lower limbs, I want to share 3 bonus daily habits that complement your neurovascular pump exercise perfectly. These are the exact therapeutic strategies I prescribe to patients inside my senior longevity clinic to systematically reverse advanced nerve starvation and protect their mobility. 1. The seated decompression hang. Every single afternoon, sit tall on a firm, sturdy chair. Place both of your hands firmly on the armrests or the sides of the seat cushion. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, press down hard through your palms, straightening your arms and completely lifting your buttocks and pelvis off the seat cushion. Let your legs hang completely loose and heavy, like weights beneath you. Do not stand up, just let your lower body hover. Hold this position for 10 slow seconds, breathing deeply, and then lower yourself down gently. This simple movement uses the raw physical weight of your own legs to create a natural, powerful gravitational traction across your lumbar spine, instantly widening your disc spaces and lifting mechanical pressure off your pinched nerve roots. 2. The thermal contrast flush. Before you retire to bed, consider utilizing a gentle thermal vascular therapy. Prepare a comfortable foot basin filled with warm water. Ensure it is pleasantly warm, never hot, as older, numb skin can be highly insensitive to thermal injury and prone to burns. Soak your feet for 8 minutes. The gentle warmth triggers a powerful vascular reflex known as vasodilation. It commands the smooth muscle walls of your clogged arteries to relax and widen, drawing a massive wave of fresh, warm blood directly to the surface of your skin, heating up frozen toes and dissolving numbness instantly. 3. The tactile stimulation protocol. Every morning after performing your exercises, spend 2 minutes stimulating the soles of your feet using a textured object. You can roll a clean tennis ball or a specialized wooden foot massage roller back and forth beneath your soles with light pressure while seated. This mechanical friction acts like a high-voltage wake-up call for your sleeping proprioceptors, forcefully breaking through the dead, cardboard-like sensation and flooding your brain's navigation computer with vivid spatial data. My dear friends, as we draw this comprehensive neurovascular longevity masterclass to a close today, I want to step away from the clinical terminology, step away from the anatomical charts, and speak directly to your heart, not just as a physician, but as a trusted companion on your journey of aging. Reaching your 70s, 80s, or 90s is an extraordinary, sacred milestone. It is a triumphant season of life that should be completely defined by your personal freedom, your profound acquired wisdom, your peace, and your joy, not by physical restriction, daily isolation, chronic burning pain, and a constant, creeping fear of your own bedroom floor. You have spent your entire life working hard, sacrificing for your families, and building the very foundations of our communities. You have earned the absolute sovereign right to live this golden season of your existence with uncompromised physical dignity, with your chin held high toward the horizon, and with the proud, unassisted autonomy to move through this world entirely on your own terms. Losing the sensation in your feet, experiencing that terrifying dead numbness step after step, or living with screaming, burning, tingling sensations every night is not an organic, inevitable consequence of getting old. It is simply a biological puzzle, a puzzle of sleeping nerve receptors, starved microcapillaries, and mechanical spinal compression. And as we have demonstrated together today, every single piece of this puzzle has a logical, scientific, and remarkably beautiful mechanical solution. Do not allow the passive, assembly line attitudes of modern medicine to dictate the boundaries of your personal world. Do not accept a life that slowly shrinks into a single room or a single safe chair. Your body remains an absolute miracle of biological engineering, fully capable of neuroplastic adaptation, capillary expansion, and nerve recovery, until the final breath you draw on this earth. You do not lack the inherent capacity to heal. You simply lack the correct clinical blueprint. Now, today, you possess that blueprint. I challenge you right now as your physician. The moment this video finishes and the screen goes quiet, do not just sit there in stagnation. Lie flat on your bed, bend your knees, lift your pelvis, pump your ankles, and turn your peripheral heart back on. Reclaim your power, protect your longevity, and step forward into your future with absolute, magnificent, and sovereign confidence. If you found today's masterclass deeply valuable, please share it immediately with your husband, your wife, your siblings, your neighbors across the street, or anyone you love who struggles with leg pain, numbness, or balance loss. Let us eradicate the shame of mobility decline and protect the independence of our seniors together. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time, your trust, and for opening your mind to me today. Subscribe to our channel, move with deep intention every single day, honor your magnificent physical temple, execute your daily neurovascular pumps, and I will see you in our very next clinical episode. Stay strong, look straight ahead at the horizon, and step forward into your day with absolute, magnificent power.